Hi, this is Grace Power, and today I wanted to just do a follow-up video on Stellar's homeschool program that we've been doing. I'm still continuing with the Foundations program with Classical Conversations, and this is the curriculum manual, and this is really the main thing that you're going to need when you join the program. There are 3 cycles, and we are in cycle 2 this year. Last year we did cycle 1, and whenever you join, you just join in whatever cycle they're moving into next. It doesn't have to go in the order of 1, 2, 3. It just happened that we got in the first year, it was cycle 1. Once he gets through the 3rd cycle, then we'll go back through cycle 1 and it'll just kind of keep continuing. So how it works is that every week that we meet, we go through memorization curriculum, and then at home, Stellar and I will work on that memorization. They have a lot of tools that are really helpful. The first thing is a CD set, and the CD set has all of the subjects. A lot of them have songs or rhythm or something to help memorize the words. And some of that is not on the CD sets, but you can find videos on YouTube, or in the class with the tutor. She will go through a song or something, and you can just make notes. And a lot of times, Stellar will remember what that song is or the rhythm or whatever just from doing the memory work with the tutor, which is great. And I do notice that this year going through the memory work is easier than last year. So if you do join Classical Conversations, keep that in mind, that the first year might be a little bit more overwhelming or just a little more challenging, or you'll feel like you're falling behind or not keeping up as much. But the second year, it goes smoother. One thing that happens is the brain actually gets better at memorizing. And so since a lot of the foundations is memory work, that first year my brain just wasn't as primed for memory and for memorizing. It's been years since I was in school, and I just hadn't had to memorize things. And of course, I wasn't brought up in a Classical Conversations program, so I didn't have to memorize things very long. Usually it was, memorize it for a week and take a test, and then I could just forget it. The way that you memorize the information through this program is so much more embedded in the brain. So as he's an adult, he'll be able to recall a lot of this information. It won't be so foreign to him. And the other thing that's nice with the history is they have a timeline song, and it goes in order from start to current day, and it puts some major events in chronological order. So it'll be easier to understand history in that regard, because he can reference that timeline song, kind of know what happened before other events. So the other thing I wanted to mention was just the geography, because I love learning the geography with him, because even though I did learn geography in school, it was still just the traditional education, and it wasn't as this wasn't designed the way that this one is designed, with repeating, and you're constantly going through the information. So this is a tool that is available through Classical Conversations. You don't have to get this, but I do highly recommend it. It's laminated, so we can write on it and then erase. And I love that, because we can go through the different parts on the map and then be able to erase it. So cycle 2, we go through a lot of Europe, and so there's a white map, and then my little cheat sheet is colored in, and then that's what I can reference if I don't know where something is, I can look at this map, but then have Stellar find it and locate it on this map. I also have him sometimes I'll just have him go through the map and just point out all the places that he remembers: the mountain ranges, the rivers, the oceans, the seas. the different countries, the cities, and then the ones that he doesn't have locked in his memory that day, then we'll go through some of those together. And there's different ways you can do the map. Sometimes you can just focus on the specific cities or countries or whatever that you're learning that week and just do those. Or you can do review and review things from previous weeks. This is kind of how they lay out, what you learn every week. And so this is also a place you could just check mark everything that he gets right or remembers or whatever, and that might be a good way to do a test. I haven't really done that, but I do reference this sometimes if I forget what one of the things was we needed to memorize. So one thing is continents and oceans. So that's a big one for this year, and I just kind of keep going back to that, is having him go through the continents and go through the oceans, because that's something that you definitely want to have him memorize, and he's getting better and better at that. And then the Mid-Atlantic world, Cape of Good Hope, Strait of Magellan, Canary Islands, Treaty of Tordesillas. This Treaty of Tordesillas is actually a line on the map. I'll just kind of show you because it's so Treaty of Tordesillas goes down this line. And so one thing I did to help him memorize this was I did a tortoise following a treat, and kind of drew a little turtle, a tortoise, and then like he was following a treat all the way up the line. And so this one he actually has memorized really well. So any little things you can do to help memorize the words. I mean, it's just kind of fun to come up with creative things like that. So last year we did cycle 1. I just brought this to reference, and we did a lot on Africa last year. So, one thing I will just mention, just because it was really fun for our family, was we were doing Europe, and part of Europe is Spain and Portugal and France and the Mediterranean Sea. And we actually went on a family trip to those areas this year. It was, I think, in September. And so when we cover these places to memorize now, I mean, he knows right on the map where Portugal